Hey, my firsty friends. This is Miss Rodriguez, and today we are going to talk about two-dimensional shapes. So, in case you forgot, two-dimensional means that it's flat. Three-dimensional shapes are higher. Two-dimensional shapes are flat. So we're going to just kind of look over some of the different kinds of two-dimensional shapes we're going to talk about in first grade and talk about what makes some of them different and special. So the first one we're going to look at is going to be our circle. So we know our circle is pretty easy to spot. It has no sides and no vertices. So in case you also forgot, our sides are going to be our straight lines. And they can be straight going horizontal. They can be straight going vertical. The two-dimensional shapes might also have vertices. And remember, our vertices are just our fancy way of saying a corner. So this right there would be a vertices. But our circle has no sides and no vertices. Think about a place where you might see a circle in your classroom, at school, or at home. The next shape I'm going to look at is going to be a rectangle. So a rectangle does have sides and it does have vertices. If you look at the rectangle, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, and it has 4 vertices. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 sides, 4 vertices. Sometimes people try to trick you by changing the direction of the rectangle. So even if we turn the rectangle this way, it's still a rectangle. The other thing that makes it different is that on the rectangle, you're going to have 2 sides that are long and 2 sides that are short, and they're opposite sides. So for instance here, the top and bottom are my short sides, and my left and right are my long sides. Of course, if I turn it this way, it's going to be the opposite. My top and bottom are long, and my left and right are shorter sides. That's what makes it the rectangle. Now, this shape is a square. Now, what's special about the square is it actually is also a rectangle. It's a rectangle because it has 4 sides. On the square, it is special though, and the reason why it's called the square is because it has 4 equal sides. If I were to go and measure each side, they'd be exactly the same, and that's what makes it a square. The other thing that the rectangle and the square both have is they have something called a right angle. Now, a right angle means that it has, when it goes to the sides and they reach that vertice, because they both have 4 sides and 4 vertices, is they're going to make a perfect L shape. So if you look at my square, it's a perfect L right here. And every corner is making that perfect L. It's called a right triangle. Same thing for my rectangle. It makes a perfect L shape, no matter which way you look at it. So that's my square and my rectangle. I'm also going to look at a triangle. The triangle has 3 sides, 1, 2, 3, and it has 3 vertices, 1, 2, and 3. If I look at this triangle, it looks a little different, but it's still a triangle. It's still a triangle because it also has 3 sides and 3 vertices. 1, 2, 3 sides, 1, 2, 3 vertices. Now, this is called a regular triangle because on this one, all the sides are the same size. This one is called a right triangle because it has that right angle. It makes a perfect L on one side. Not all the sides do that, but one of them does, which is why it's called the right triangle. But they're both triangles. That's another way that sometimes people try to confuse you because they look a little different. People think that they're not both triangles, but they still are. The next shape we're going to look at is going to be a rhombus. So sometimes people call these a diamond, but we are in first grade and we use the fancy math word. The fancy math word is going to be rhombus. This is also a rhombus. The rhombus has 4 sides and 4 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. One is just going to be, this one's skinnier than this one. We also have the trapezoid. A trapezoid is a lot like a square and a rectangle in that it has 4 sides and 4 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it also has the 4 vertices, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The difference, one of the differences is these 2 sides are the same size right here, but if you look at the bottom, it's going to be longer than this side. So that makes it different from a rectangle or a square. And then finally, the last shape we're going to look at today is going to be a hexagon. And the hexagon has 6 sides and 6 vertices. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides and 6 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So sometimes people get the hexagon and an octagon confused. The way I remember hexagon is it has an X in it, and so does the number 6. And that's important for a hexagon because a hexagon has 6 sides and 6 vertices. So they both have that X in there together. That's how I remember a hexagon has 6. So this was just a quick little video about different shapes, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon again about more shapes. See you soon.